going on, YouTube family? How you doing? Okay, it's Amari Brown, Shoot Your Shot, and we are back with another video. If you know me, you know I am a social emotional learning advocate. Okay, my focus is emotional intelligence, and that deals with 4 quadrants, which are self-awareness, self-management, relationship management, and social skills. Okay, and today we are under the quadrant of self-awareness, and self-awareness basically has to deal with everything surrounding yourself. That could be your likes, your dislikes, your strengths, your weaknesses, your beliefs, your principles, your morals, your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, your gifts, your talents, your acquired skills, your triggers, your traumas, anything surrounding you. That is self-awareness, being aware of who you are. Okay? And so, like I said, it's so many different aspects and avenues that we could go down, but today I want to focus on triggers. Okay? And for those of you who don't know what a trigger is, right, I'm going to give you the definition. So it says triggers is referred to as a stressor. Okay? It is an action or situation that can lead to an adverse emotional reaction. And it's a situation or an action that can lead to an adverse emotional reaction. Okay? It says it's an event that causes a strong emotional reaction or response from an individual. Okay? The key word here is adverse. Adverse means preventing success or development, and it says harmful or unfavorable. Okay? So basically, to sum that all up, a trigger is when an event or a situation happens and your response to that event is a strong emotion that causes harm or is unfavorable, okay? Or is preventing success or development. You got me? Okay. So to get a little deeper, I'm gonna give you an example, right? We about to get straight into it. Like, we're not playing no games. We about to get straight into it. So an example would be, right? I'm gonna make it an example where you could really picture yourself, really picture yourself here. So say it's Thanksgiving, okay? And you're going to your family event to celebrate the holiday, right? All your family's over there, your aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, and you gather your kids and y'all go to this event. Okay? So you get there, everybody's mingling, everybody's socializing, and let's just say your cousin makes a comment. Oh, grandma gonna love my cake. That's all they say. Grandma gonna love my cake. And you all of a sudden you feeling away, right? You feeling some kind of way. Now, that comment that your cousin made, they didn't say anything that offended you. They didn't say anything that insulted you. They didn't cause physical harm to you, but for some reason you're feeling some kind of way, right? And so for the sake of this scenario, you're triggered. You're being triggered. Okay? And why would I say you're being triggered? Because you're having a negative emotion to the comment that your cousin made. Okay? And so for example, the reason you would be having that negative emotion, whether it's all of a sudden you're feeling angry, or all of a sudden you're feeling sad, or all of a sudden you're feeling a little depressed, right? Your whole mood just changed once you heard your cousin make that comment. Okay? Why? Because you were triggered. right? So they didn't say anything to offend you. Like I said, they didn't even say, "Oh, I could cook better than everybody in here," right? They didn't say anything like that. All they said was, "Grandma's gonna love my cake." Now, the reason you could be feeling triggered is because it stemmed from something that happened or something you experienced in your childhood. Okay? Such as, I know this happens a lot within the black community. Sometimes grandmas have favorite grandkids. Okay? And sometimes that can be traumatizing for the grandkids that's not the favorite. You got me? So for that person that's experiencing that trigger from that comment that their cousin made, it could be because of the way their grandma treated them when they were a child, right? Because the grandma, because they know that the cousin, the cousin that made that comment, I'm gonna just call him Kevin, right? So because Kevin was grandma's favorite grandchild, he always got better gifts. He always got the most attention. He didn't have to do anything, but he was always loved. And so as a kid, because you weren't getting all that love and affection and attention, you felt neglected, you felt rejected, you felt unworthy, right? And so it built resentment, whether it was towards the cousin or whether it was towards the grandma. But either way, it built resentment. And so now, because that resentment wasn't dealt with, because it was never spoken of, because you never dealt with it, you kind of just brushed it to the side. And now those emotions just linger and they built up, even though they didn't never come to the surface, right? They just built up over time because you left it unhandled. You neglected it. You didn't deal with it. That's why when we get offended at times, right, even if it's unintentionally, we got to speak up. At least address it, because sometimes when you leave offense unaddressed, it'll cause problems that don't even need to be created. But that's a topic for another day. We're talking about triggers. So, like I said, Kevin triggered. I'm gonna use this person that I'm using as an example. We're gonna say Mike, right? So now Mike is upset. Now Mike is ready to go. So he's gathering up his kids, and nobody knows why. Like, he's just getting angry. He's just angry all of a sudden because he was triggered. So now, all right, y'all, I'm gonna get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to keep his composure, but he's really mad, right? Everybody like, hey, Mike, what's going on? Just chill. Why you leaving so fast? You just got here. Now I'm just not feeling it. I ain't got time. Da, da, da. And that's another thing too. Some people, because everybody reacts differently when they are triggered. Some people react with chaos, and some people react with absence. In this scenario that I'm giving, Mike is reacting with absence. Now I'm gonna give you an example of somebody that react with chaos. Why you think grandma gonna love your cake? You think you the best cook? Um, that who told you she was gonna love your cake? Like, why you always think you better than everybody? This that. Now, now, what's his name? Kevin. Kevin ain't never say he was the better cook. Kevin ain't, you know what I'm saying? Kevin ain't make no comments like that. All he said was grandma was gonna love the cake. And so that's another thing too. When you get triggered, sometimes you hear things that's not being said. You're making assumptions because you're triggered. Do you follow me? So this is why acknowledging your triggers are so important. That's self-awareness. Because when you get triggered, there's no telling how you're going to react when you get triggered. Because sometimes our triggers, they don't appear, they don't show up until a certain situation or event is occurring. And so because you brushed off the offense in the past, because you buried it deep inside, you think it's not there, but it is. And it's only going to show up in situations like these. And that's okay. But when they do show up, you have to take the responsibility to address them. You follow me? That's your responsibility. When you feel triggered, you gotta take the responsibility and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Why all of a sudden I was just fine, now I'm aggravated, now I'm mad, now I'm angry, now I'm sad. Why when this person made this comment, why the temperature in my body changed? But that's really how it be. Some people, they get so furious when they being triggered and the person ain't even say nothing that was directed at them. They didn't say anything to insult them, right? And sometimes they offend them, but it was unintentionally. They just made a comment, but you feel offended because you're triggered. And so there's different types of trauma, right? But today we're going to focus on childhood trauma. Okay? And the definition of childhood trauma is traumatic experiences during childhood, such as physical or sexual abuse, neglect, or witnessing violence in the home. It can have long-lasting effects on a person's mental and emotional development. Okay? That's what childhood trauma is. It says multiple traumatic experiences during childhood can lead to emotional and psychological challenges. Okay? And so if you're tuned into this, that means you have some childhood traumas that you have yet to deal with, and it's triggering you, right? And so now you're having emotional or psychological challenges. And there is nothing wrong with that, because I've been there myself. Okay? Even to this day. But it's getting easier because now when I encounter it, I know how to handle it. I know how to manage them. Okay? And so, which leads me to my next point, how to overcome triggers and best manage them. Right? And so with this, I would say the number one strategy is to heal. That's such a broad statement. Like, you say heal, but how I heal? I get it. Cuz healing is a process. It's not an overnight thing. Okay, I'm with you. I had to go through my healing journey. Look, here's the thing. We're going to have to go through a healing journey throughout the rest of our life. Why? Because there's always going to be an encounter, a situation where we get hurt, or where we get offended, or where we get misused and abused or assaulted. There's going to always be some type of adversity within our lives. Okay? So don't think just because you've overcome and healed from your childhood traumas that the process is done. Healing is a forever journey. I just had to put that out there. You're going to always encounter some type of adversity from somebody. Okay? And so with healing, now I can't give you the whole healing process because it looks different for everybody, right? But what I am going to do is give you some pointers on how to begin your healing process. Okay? And I would say the first things first, is to recognize the emotions. Right? Recognize emotions. Don't run from them. Because if you run from them, all it's going to do is set you back or keep you at a standstill from your process. You're just going to be in a continuous cycle, experiencing the same things over and over and over again. Because guess what? For that scenario that I just gave, right? What was his name? Kevin, the one that was offended. If Kevin just brush that trigger off to the side, if he show up the next year for that Thanksgiving holiday event and that cousin Mike is there and he makes another comment, he's going to be triggered all over again. Okay? And guess what? It don't even have to be from Mike. It could be from anybody that make Mike think of the time in his life when he was a child where his grandmother neglected him or where his grandma made him feel less than. Okay? And I want to tell you why addressing your triggers is important. Because I know it's somebody out there that's watching this video that's thinking like, I ain't gotta worry about that. Shoot, if I get triggered, I'm gonna just leave. Let me tell you why that's not a good thing, right? Okay, so let's say for example, right? You in war. Okay? You at war, you at battle, it's sword swinging, blood splattering, bodies dropping, like real life physical war. I know it may be a bit extreme, but bear with me, right? You at war, right? And you come out of the war alive. You make it out alive, right? Some people didn't. God bless you. You made it out alive, right? And let's just say you walking down the street, fresh out the battle, fresh out the war, fresh out the mix, right? Now, you can imagine what someone looks like fresh out of war. They got wounds. They got blood splatters, whether it's their blood or somebody else's. They t-shirts ripped up, right? They in distress. Their mind is all over the place. They tore up. They just went to war. You know what I'm saying? So you walking down the street and you trying to neglect it, like you ain't just experienced what you experienced. Are y'all with me? Are you with me? It's no running from it. You can't just get out of war and just live your life every day like you ain't just go through what you went through. Trying to ignore it and put it off to the side. Cause guess what? As you walking down the street, you better believe somebody side eyeing you. You just came out of war. What you doing? You gotta go clean up. Are you following me? Okay? Are you following me? Because this is just a metaphor that I'm using of ignoring your triggers. Right? When you get triggered, it stems from somewhere. It stems from a place of emotional abuse. Okay? And so when you go through emotional abuse, any emotional traumatic experience that you experience, you go through, excuse me, you have to heal. You got to go through that process. Yeah, you made it out of the war, but you got some bruises. You got some wounds that you need to go touch up, that you need to go patch up. Okay? And I'm going to use another metaphor because some people, when they get into relationships, this is where a lot of our triggers show up in relationships, whether it's romantic relationships, friendships, whether it's relationships with co-workers or teammates if you play sports. But in relationships is where a lot of your triggers are going to show up. So, but I'm gonna focus on romantic relationships, right? People think they just got out of a fresh relationship where it was so much emotional damage done, and then they didn't even heal from their past, and they just go quick to hop into another relationship. What are you doing? So now all you doing is carrying all all that baggage, all those wounds, all that hurt, all that trauma, all that pain into this next relationship. You think you're going to have a successful relationship? You think that relationship is going to be healthy emotionally? You think it's going to be stable? Psychologically, did you think it was going to be stable? You're not even stable. Every time we come out of war, you have to clean yourself up. Take the time to heal. Take the time to heal. Like, I know I said I was going to speak on childhood experiences, childhood trauma, but the same goes for adult trauma as well. Because like I said, trauma is adversity is never ending. You're always going to face some kind of challenges in life. And when you do, you need to know how to heal yourself. You need to know how to overcome. And so here's some things that I do want you to know though, right? Because within the healing journey, it's not going to always be easy. Right? And so I want you to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the way that you responded when you were triggered. Because some people are going to try to shame you for how you responded when you were triggered. So before you do anything, you got to forgive yourself. You cannot let nobody place you in a box. You cannot let nobody put shame over your name. Because that's what they're going to do. But you have to stand bold and take accountability over your actions. But you have to forgive yourself. It's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight, but you have to forgive yourself. Okay? And I also want you to know, too, is that your triggers, your response to your triggers, it don't only affect you. It affects the people you love as well. So in that scenario that I gave with Kevin and Mike, Kevin, the one who was triggered, I believe, when he responded with absence, I said he had kids. I'm sure his kids didn't want to leave. They with family. They playing with their cousins. Now we got to get up and go. We just got here. Why we got to go, Dad? You know what I'm saying? And that's just one scenario, but it can go so much deeper than that. I'm sure you're thinking about ways you're triggered right now and how you responded when you got triggered and how it affected the people around you. I'm sure you are. And so don't feel guilty. Don't feel ashamed. Take accountability. Because now that you know and you recognize it, now you're building a foundation to do better. You're building a foundation to overcome. Right? I'm pretty sure we done did some nasty things, some mean things when we were triggered. Why? Because hurt people hurt people. And so it's not okay, but it's a learning process. Take accountability, take responsibility, and do the things that you need to do to become a better version of yourself. Which leads me to my third point. Once you become aware, take action. When you know better, you do better. When you know better, you do better. When you know better and you choose not to take action, you're doing yourself a disservice. So that means you're just choosing to continue going through that cycle. That means you choosing to delay your growth. That means you're choosing to delay your success, your development. That means there is no elevation within your mind. There's no growth within your mind. You're choosing to stay the same. Now, why would you want to do that? Are you with me? Are you catching my drift? Cool. And so as I was saying, I'm sorry. I know I backtrack, but to overcome these triggers and to best manage them, like I said, you need to recognize the emotions and don't run from them. Don't run from them. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Label the emotions. Okay, so when so said this, I was angry. I was a little sad. I ain't like the way I felt in that moment. Dig deep. This one-on-one with you. This is just you and you, or you and God. Okay? Be real with yourself. If you can't be real with nobody, be real with yourself. And if you can't be real with yourself, you can't be real with nobody. Okay? You gotta talk to yourself. You in this lifetime, the only person you're gonna talk to the most is yourself. And so you need a healthy relationship with you. You gotta be self-aware. You have to know you. You have to know who you are, because if not, you will be settling for and subscribing and putting yourself in different environments and hanging out with anybody that's not for you. You're compromising yourself. You leaving yourself out there, you bait. You just leaving yourself out there, because at any given point, people that's not for you, they gonna easily trigger you. So you have to know you. Okay? My second point is to journal. Put your thoughts on paper. You gotta empty your mind so it's not driving you crazy. When I was younger, I suffered from anxiety because, for one, I wasn't really self-aware. Like I said, I wasn't self-aware, so I wasn't recognizing when I was triggered. I wasn't recognizing when I was emotionally unstable. Yes, I was young and I had no knowledge of this, but if you're watching this, you do. So don't be me. Do better. Be better. Be better. I wish I had somebody telling me this when I was in high school, or when I was in college, or when I was in middle school. Empty your mind. I was in middle school having panic attacks. I was in high school having panic attacks. You have to be self-aware. You have to know yourself. My third point, talk to someone. Whether it's a therapist or a trusted family member or a friend. A trusted family member or a friend. A trusted family member or a friend. Somebody that you know is not going to have your business all in the streets. People need people. People need people. I don't care how bad you want to say, I don't need nobody, I don't trust nobody. People need people. Find yourself someone that you can trust, that's emotionally intelligent themselves, that's self-aware themselves. Okay? And don't just go pouring your trauma and your pain on anybody. Ask permission first, because some people, they can't manage You know what I'm saying? Be respectful. Be what's the word? Be considerate, right? Don't just go out there pouring all your pain on somebody. Like, bro, can I talk to you for a minute? Like, I just got a lot on my mind. I need, you know what I'm saying? It be like that. If they love you, they gonna understand. Word, for real. And so those are my 3 points as far as healing, right? But you also want to manage and be conscious of how you are responding and reacting when you are triggered. Again, like if that same scenario come about again or something within that same manner, this time, you know, when you feel your body, when you feel your emotions start running wild, bring yourself back, because sometimes our mind get crazy. We start thinking about all kind of crazy stuff, right? Bring yourself back, take a deep breath, and be conscious of how you respond or how you react, right? Because now you've already touched on the surface. Excuse me, you already done dug a little deep on why you're feeling that way. So now when it happens again, you a little more easier to stand it, right? It's not as uncomfortable because you recognize and you're self-aware. So now you're conscious. Okay, I usually get mad, but I ain't gonna get mad this time. Like, let me just go, play it cool. But you just know you still got some work to do. And over time, it'll be a less and less negative reaction, or negative, less and less negative response or emotion, and to the point where it just doesn't even phase you anymore. I know because I've been there. Things that used to get me fired up, whole body hot, I'm beaming on the inside. Want to go off. Sometimes I did. You know what I'm saying? But the healing journey. I'm so grateful that it's certain things that now when I hear or when I see, I don't get as fired up as I used to. Like you really get your power back, because it's like, dang, that junk don't affect me no more. It's like I'm standing in my power. Like, I own my power. Because when you get easily triggered and you react, they have all your power, because now they're controlling, even if it's intentionally or unintentionally, they're controlling how you act. They're controlling how you feel. So they know what to say to get you mad, to get you from 0 to 10. You know what I'm saying? So get your power back. Get your power back. Don't let them people have power over you. Don't let that situation or that event have power over you. Do you hear me? Okay, so we gotta, like, I would say some demonstrations of that would be to, like, just properly communicate your emotions, properly communicate how you feel, whether it's with yourself or with someone else. Because when you hear it and you say it out loud, now you're getting clarity. Okay, you got me. Now is easier to manage. Like, okay, so I recognize it now. I know it. So when I see it again, yes, I'm gonna be alright. Got me? And so that's it today for triggers. I hope you learned something. Please like and subscribe. If you learned something, if it added value to you, like this video, subscribe to the channel, because this is just the beginning. Like, we're just getting started. This is one of many. It was nice talking to y'all. Feel free to engage, leave a comment, leave a perspective. If this helped you in any way, let me know. I appreciate it. And I'll see y'all again on the next video.